Hey, hi, hello there, and welcome back to Formula Amateur, where today we'll be talking about the history of Sauber. It won't be too intense, won't be too in depth, but we'll explore a little bit about the team which is soon to become Audi. So let's get into it, shall we? So first of all, let's start off with a little bit of background information on the team. So it was founded by Peter Sauber in Hinwil in Switzerland, and the team has many variations in motorsport, but they entered Formula One in 1993. And since then, they've been in various different iterations. So they were just Sauber until 2006 when BMW bought them out and they were known as BMW Sauber. This went on until 2010, and then they went back to being Sauber for a while until Alfa Romeo bought them out in 2018, and this went on until 2022. And then since then they've been Kick Sauber Stake F1 team, and soon they are to be Audi. So they have gone through a wild bit of timeline there, but they have been in the sport every single year since 1993 in some form or another. So let's talk about the drivers. So in 1993 they had Karl Wendlinger and JJ Lehto. Then in 1994 they had Heinz Harald Franzen. Then they also had Karl Wendlinger, JJ Leto, Andrea de Cesaris in 1994. Then in 1995 they had Karl Wendlinger, Jean-Christophe Bouillon, and they also had Heinz Harald Frentzen again. In 1996 they had Johnny Herbert, Heinz Harald Frentzen, and then in 1997 they had Johnny Herbert, Gianni Morbidelli, Nicola Lani, and Norberto Fontana in 1997. In 1998 they had Johnny Herbert and Jean Alesi. In 1999 they had Jean Alesi and Pedro Diniz. In 2000 they had Pedro Diniz and Mika Salo. And then in 2001 they had Nick Heidfeld and Kimi Räikkönen. Then in 2002 they had Nick Heidfeld, Felipe Massa, and Heinz Harald Frentzen again. And then in 2003 they once again had Heinz Harald Frentzen and Nick Heidfeld. And then in 2004 they had Giancarlo Fisichella and Felipe Massa. And then in 2005 they had Felipe Massa and Jacques Villeneuve. In 2006 they had Jacques Villeneuve, Robert Kubica, and Nick Heidfeld. And then in 2007 they had Nick Heidfeld, Robert Kubica, and briefly Seb Vettel. And then in 2008 they had Nick Heidfeld and Robert Kubica, and they finished third that year because Robert Kubica won the Canadian Grand Prix that year. And then in 2009 they had Nick Heidfeld and Robert Kubica once again. And then in 2010 they had Nick Heidfeld, Kamui Kobayashi, and Pedro Della Rota in 2010. In 2011 they had Kamui Kobayashi, Sergio Perez, and Pedro Della Rosa in 2011. In 2012 Kamui Kobayashi and Sergio Perez. In 2013 Nico Hulkenberg and Esteban Gutierrez. In 2014 they had Esteban Gutierrez and Adrian Sutil. And then in 2015 they had Marcus Ericsson and Felipe Nasr. In 2016 they had Marcus Ericsson and Felipe Nasr again. And then in 2017 they had Marcus Ericsson, Pascal Verlaine, and Antonio Giovinazzi in 2017, and then in 2018 they had Marcus Ericsson and Charles Leclerc. In 2019 they had Kimi Räikkönen and Antonio Giovinazzi. In 2020 they had Kimi Räikkönen and Antonio Giovinazzi again. And then in 2021 they had Kimi Räikkönen, Antonio Giovinazzi, and Robert Kubica. And then they had Valtteri Bottas and Zhou Guanyu from 2022 2024, and this was when they were finished finishing off with Alpha and starting as a Kick Sauber Stake F1 team. And since the beginning of this season in 2025, their lineup has been Nico Hulkenberg and Gabriele Bortoleto. Now, they haven't had as many team principals, but mainly they had Peter Sauber on and off. So Peter Sauber was the team principal from 1993 to 2005. Then Mario Tyson took over when they were BMW from 2006 to 2009. Then Peter Sauber brought back the Sauber team into his ownership and had it from 2010 to 2012. And then Manisha Kattelborn was the team principal from 2012 to 2017. Then Frederick Vasseur of Ferrari fame was then the team principal from 2017 to 2022 before he left for Ferrari. And then Alessandro Aluni Bravi was the representative of the team, as they didn't technically have a team principal at the time, from 2023 to 2024. And since April of 2025, it has been Jonathan Wheatley. So as I said, just a brief little history on Sauber, and this is part of a series that I have now started where I am discussing all things teams. So next week we will discuss the next team, which is Williams, and I am going in the order of which the teams finished the 2024 season in the constructors, which is why we're starting off with Sauber, and we're going to make our way upwards towards McLaren. So this will be something for you to look forward to in the next couple of weeks on Saturdays. Please don't forget to check out all of my lovely colleagues on the Be The Change Media Network. Check out our website, BeTheChangeMediaNetwork.com. We now have socials, so please check out Formula Amateur on Facebook and on Instagram. Give us a follow, send us a message, and let us know what you think. Don't forget to comment and subscribe to find out when the next episode is coming out, which will be Monday, where we are going through the first mega edition of the race rundown for Belgium. Have a lovely rest of your weekend, and I will see you on Monday. Goodbye.